Hey, hey, this is Ghost Tracks Podcast, and I'm your host, Tina. Thank you all for being here. I do want to apologize for being absent last week. I had a stomach bug, and I was doing really gross things here at my house, and I didn't feel like anybody wanted to hear that on recording. So I did have to take the day off. There would have been no way that I could have recorded in the condition that I was in. So I'm so sorry for the three of you that listen that you missed me last week. Aside from being ill, I came back from Disney. I've been kind of updating a little bit on social media about that trip and how it went and where we went and all of that. I did have a very fun time. I will say that the Magic Kingdom was not for me. Everybody forgot their manners at that park, and it was very frustrating for me. While I'm kind of a dick, I'm also a very polite person, and I do take other people into account when I'm out in public. I try not to be in anyone's way. I try to be cognizant of those around me, and I don't feel like a single solitary person at the Magic Kingdom felt that same way. So, it was very frustrating. I'm glad that I went. I'm glad that I had the experience. But I have to say, Universal Studios and Epcot were by far my favorites. But Disney Hollywood Studios was a very cool park as well. That is actually where I met the most characters, which was something else I was kind of bummed about at the Magic Kingdom, was that I did not meet a single character there. Epcot, I did meet a few. I met Alice in Wonderland and I met Belle from Beauty and the Beast, so that was pretty cool. Epcot, I probably could have gone back there for several days in a row and been completely content with walking that park all day, over several days. I had such a fun time at Epcot. It was so cool, all the little countries and how it was all set up. We were there forever, like open to close, but I still don't feel like I saw absolutely everything. So I would definitely love to go back someday. And the fireworks show at the end of the night at Epcot was just fabulous. I was obsessed. Um, Disney Hollywood Studios, I think it's called Fantasmic. That was the show at the end of the night there. Also fantastic. I mean, God, I can't imagine. And I think our group had mentioned several times, like, how much money does it cost them just in fireworks alone to do these shows every freaking night? And some of them are done 2 times a night. I know the one at Disney Hollywood Studios is done twice a night. So that's just an immense amount of money. I can't even imagine. And then just the electric bills that these guys have. I sound like such an old dad right now thinking about the electric bill, but all in all, it was a very fun trip. Thanks to the teacher that came on the trip sick. We much appreciate that because we were all locked in a tin box together for a 20-hour drive. And I ended up coming home sick because of that. And then got that stomach bug, about a week and a half, 2 weeks later. So it's been a ride, guys. But I had fun, but I was very happy to be back in my own bed and not walking parks for like 14 hours. But anyway, enough about me. Tell me about you. I kid. I can't hear what you're saying. But today's episode is something a little different. We're not really talking about hauntings, but we are talking about something deadly. So, that can create hauntings in the long run. I did want to start out this episode with a disclaimer of sorts. What we are talking about today can cause death. It's a place that you can visit, but it is under strict surveillance and comes with a lot of supervision. I am me. I am a smartass, and I will, and have in the past, made jokes about this place, asking if it had a gift shop. I am in no way encouraging anyone to try and remove items from this place or procure them on their own. Murder is still illegal, y'all. Don't do it. And don't go and do something dumb and say, well, Tina told me to, because no, the hell I did not. Now that I have that out of the way, any thoughts on where we're going today? All right, I guess I'll just tell you. Today we're traveling across the pond to the Poison Garden in Alnwick, Northumberland. I've known about this amazing garden for quite a few years, and it's definitely a bucket list item for me. But let's talk history about this. If you know nothing about the gardens and you were to consider what we were talking about for a moment, you would definitely think that this particular garden came about in the way back times. Shockingly enough, and even I was shocked about this, the Poison Garden's start began in 1995 with a dream. Less shockingly, though, it was a woman who thought this deadly place up. Duchess Jane Percy of Northumberland is the creator of the gardens, and she was inspired by the poison gardens known to be kept in Padua in the mid-16th century, where the plants were used to end the lives of royal enemies. People have always been shady. They always be doing the most. The Duchess's husband unexpectedly became the 12th Duke of Northumberland in 1995 when his brother passed away. And after Alnwick Castle became their new home, the Duchess would roam the overgrown gardens of the property, and there she decided to create a place of both death and beauty. Construction on the garden actually didn't begin until the year 2000, and the gardens were done in multiple phases. Phase 1 began in 2000 with work on the Grand Cascade, rose and ornamental gardens, and the Woodland Walk, and it was completed in 2001. With Phase 1 complete, this marked the official opening of the gardens to the public. But where were the poisonous plants? Because that's what we all want to know. The Poison Garden construction did not get underway until 2003. Phase 2 of the construction encompassed the work done on the Poison Garden, Treehouse, Bamboo Labyrinth, and Serpent Garden. Which, I didn't look too much into what the Serpent Garden is, and now that I'm looking back at my notes to bring this to your guys' ears, I kind of want to know more about that place. Like, what is the Serpent Garden? I'll have to do more research. I read in 2 books about this and scoured the internet and, went through their website, which, shockingly enough, didn't hold a whole lot of information. But I think given what this place houses, what the garden has in it, it kind of makes sense. It's kind of like when you go on ghost tours and stuff, they don't give a whole lot of details online because they want you to come and visit. So they're keeping their secrets to themselves and their stories. But I'll go one day and I'll learn all about it. But then I can't share it with you guys. You guys will have to get passports and go over there yourselves. Phase 2 and the long-awaited Poison Garden were opened to the public in 2005, the year of one of my children's births. Between 2006 and as recently as 2023, multiple new experiences, buildings, and garden additions have been made, making this place one for everyone of all ages. And I truly mean that. If you guys have never read about, looked up, if you know nothing about the Alnwick Gardens, I highly, highly recommend looking into it. The grounds are absolutely stunning. I'll put some photos up on our socials about it. But truly, you've got to, I'm only probably going to put up things about the Poison Garden because that's what I'm talking about. But there is so much more that this place encompasses. It's definitely worth looking into. And I don't know, I think I have some British listener. Hello, British friend. Have you ever gone here? Because I would love to hear about it. The gardens are both informative and fun, and it's a great family outing. Aside from the poisonous flowers that the gardens house, I find it pretty cool that parts of the grounds buildings were designed by Sir Michael Hopkins, who was a very famous British architect. He passed away quite a few years ago, but he was very well known in the UK for his architecture. But enough about buildings and people. We're here for the plants. I don't think I've really discussed this on the podcast much, probably because it's winter time, or it was winter time when I started this, and I haven't gotten much into gardening just yet this year. Well, kind of. I've been gardening for the last week. And guys, my back is so old these days. I've been in so much pain. Uh, Hauling mulch and digging out grass and flower beds. Ugh, my old lady back and knees are killing me. But anyway, I am quite the lover of plants, and I've always made it a point to, talk about and point out all the poisonous ones that I know. I think that is just a way to keep my husband on his toes. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. But anyway, one day when I grow up and I have land, I too want to have a garden of poisonous flora to gaze upon. Obviously, since I don't have the option of having 24/7 security and I don't have the ability to house anything super dangerous, I'll likely just put things that you can find in any old nursery or chain garden center. But it's going to be no less beautiful and no less cool. And while we're speaking on gardens, on top of my poison garden, I would absolutely love to have a moon garden with a moon gate. If you don't know what a moon gate is, look it up. They're really freaking cool. And I'm just lucky enough that my husband is, by trade, this is not what he does currently for work, but he is a bricklayer. So I can have him build me a fancy little moon gate into my fancy little moon garden. And it's going to be beautiful one day when I grow up, which I haven't yet. At almost 40 years old, I'm still a child, so sorry. But many of the plants that I want to house or currently house, because I do, again, have gardens here, are really super common. Again, you can find these things at Walmart, Home Depot, uh, Lowe's, any garden center or garden store has a lot of these flowers in it. So in the ones that I'm talking about, the most common ones are ones like wolfsbane, which might be a little less common, but foxglove and lily of the valley are super common, and they are also housed in the poison garden at Alnwick. While there isn't a book or a comprehensive list of the plants that are grown at Alnwick Poison Gardens, unless you visit them personally or live in the UK, there is a book available on site at the gift shop, or it can be shipped to you in the UK. You lucky ducks. Ask me how I know, because I was on there searching high and low for this book because I was going to buy it, but I can't get it because I'm an American. And I live in America. But anyway, some of the plants that are listed on their website are laburnum, and that is commonly referred to as golden chain. And then there's Atropa belladonna, or deadly nightshade, Helleborus odorus, monkshood, or wolfsbane. Oh, you know what? I forgot to look how this one is pronounced, so I apologize if I butcher this one. Ricinus communis, or castor oil plant, giant hogweed, opium poppy, and gimpy gimpy, or the stinging tree. And some of these you may know, some of them you might not. I thought that it would be cool to go into some of the properties of a couple of the plants that they do have listed on their page and maybe talk about some of the history and murders that took place using these plants. Obviously, I think that everyone here can agree that the most well-known plant on the list above is belladonna. She's such a beautiful gal. Belladonna goes by several different names, which I've already listed, and those are belladonna, atropa belladonna, and deadly nightshade. She's part of the nightshade family and is a toxic perennial herbaceous plant. Now, the nightshade family also encompasses tomatoes, eggplant. My brain is struggling, mostly because my dogs are being very loud, and I'm a little worried that you'll be able to hear them. But anyway, I know tomatoes and eggplants are in the nightshade family. I know that there are multiple other plants in this family. But belladonna, she is native to Europe and Western Asia, but it was introduced to parts of Canada, North Africa, and the US over the years. Belladonna grows in a shrub-like form and has beautiful purple flowers and black berries. While she's very alluring to look at, do not be mistaken. Every part of her is toxic. Am I belladonna? Every part of me is toxic? I don't know. My ex-husband told me I was toxic, so I'm going to take it as a compliment. In fact, belladonna is so toxic that it is known that honey produced by bees that harvest the nectar from her flowers is also toxic. The symptoms of belladonna poisoning are many, and I do mean many. They include dilated pupils, sensitivity to light, blurred vision, tachycardia, loss of balance, staggering, headache, rash, flushing, severely dry mouth and throat, slurred speech, urinary retention, constipation, confusion, hallucinations, delirium, and convulsions. She's like a really bad commercial. You know, the commercials that come on and they're like, this will treat this one thing, but then it reads off like the absolutely ridiculous list of side effects that it could have. That's belladonna. It doesn't sound like a fun Friday night to me, though. One of the most famous deaths attributed to belladonna poisoning is that of Roman Emperor Augustus, who was said to have been murdered by his wife, Empress Lucia Drusilla, with nightshade-laced figs. That's unfortunate because figs are delicious. Like, do y'all mess with some fig Newtons? Because I definitely do. Belladonna is also linked to the witch's flying potion, which was an ointment that was applied to, I think both men and women use this. Obviously, probably mostly women, but I do know that men were said to use this as well. But it was used and it gave hallucinogenic side effects and caused the wearer to feel as though they were flying, when in actuality they were just tripping balls. I do not recommend recreating this flying potion and using it. Please, for the love of all that is holy, everything that I'm talking about in this episode, do not try it at home, kids. But enough about our beautiful gal, belladonna. Let's move on to another of the most famous plants kept in the poison gardens, and that would be monkshood, or wolfsbane, is another of the most well-known plants, and it is also incredibly toxic. Another gorgeous perennial herbaceous plant. She's native to North America, Europe, and Asia. Monkshood grows on a stalk with multiple beautiful flowers growing on a single stem in a variety of colors. Much like our beauty above, all parts of this plant are also highly volatile, with the most poisonous parts being the roots and seeds. Symptoms of monkshood toxicity are as follows: nausea, vomiting, dizziness, seizures, and cardiac arrhythmias. Most deaths associated with monkshood are due to ventricular tachyarrhythmias. In layman terms, that is a fast, abnormal heart rhythm that originates in the ventricles of the heart, which are the lower heart chambers. While wolfsbane has a long history as an agent in nefarious deeds, I find the lore around this plant a little more fascinating than, just plain old murder with it. It's said that wolfsbane was used in the Middle Ages when fear of wolves and werewolves were at their peak. It was used to repel or even tame werewolves. I would have loved to see some people come at me with a little purple plant, like, "Back, beast, you shall not transform." And I bite them anyway. People also believe that contact with this plant on a full moon could cause shape-shifting, while others believed that it could be used to cure lycanthropy, or the transformation into a werewolf. I love that there is a legit scientific name for that. But instead of this, either repelling werewolves or creating them, it instead just led to lethal medical prescriptions and poisonings. So, I know this isn't a super duper long episode, guys. I tried to keep it short and sweet. I really have been struggling this last week, but I didn't want to skip another week for episodes, so I could really sit here all day and talk about plants of all kinds and all of the history and all of the properties, but we just don't have that time, and I'm sure you don't want to hear me blabbing, so I'll leave it at that. But what do you guys think? Would you like to visit the poison gardens in Alnwick? Just know I found this absolutely hilarious. The staff at the gardens keep a daily tally of faintings, vomitings, and times that they have called ambulances to assist. So, my question is, do you think you could make it through without being put on the whiteboard of shame? I definitely think I could, and I fully intend on heading to the UK to test that theory out. And I hope that when I do get over to the UK and test the theory that I'll still have this podcast. I plan on being here for years to come, but I hope that you'll be here with me, and then you'll get to hear me report back on that. And I really hope that I don't get hauled off in an ambulance, because that would be really embarrassing. I don't even want to, throw up. That would be really embarrassing too. But I'm pretty brave, okay? I think I'll be able to do it. Again, sorry this is kind of a little short and sweet episode. I do thank you guys for being here and listening about this most amazing garden. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you learned a little something about some of the cool and deadly plants there. Again, I would definitely look up the gardens. It's Alnwick Garden, ALNWICK, Poison Garden. They have TikTok, they have Instagram. I'm going to assume, and this is actually just an assumption because I didn't look, but I'm going to assume they probably have a Facebook as well. They have their website. You can find some videos about them and the plants there and how, the processes of taking care of the plants and all of that. They do have them on YouTube. So I highly recommend looking them up and just, I don't know, give them a like and a follow. They're doing great work over there. They have some really cool programs. I know that they bring out kids for garden tours. But yeah, give them a like and a follow. And while you're at it, you can give me a like and a follow too. And I know I didn't actually tell you any ghost stories today, but I guess I told you a how to make a ghost for dummies tale instead. Again, do not be taking me seriously in anything I say, other than don't be taking these plants and doing anything awful with them. And if you do it, you're doing it of your own accord and not because I said anything about them. So, until next time, friends, remember to like and share. You can leave me a comment if you would like to do so. I will answer. I would love, love, love to have you join me on social media. I have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All of those socials are at Ghost Tracks Podcast. If you have any tales that you would like to share, from ghost stories to a weird encounter to alien abduction, maybe you met Bigfoot, you can send those over to ghosttrackspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you again so much. You guys are all awesome. Stay creepy. Bye.